Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, building on the last video and as expected, Apple reached the 3 trillion market cap. So the question here, did Apple reach the 3 trillion market cap organically? The simple answer is no. Apple reached this market cap by obviously taking advantage of the loose Fed monetary policy and the low interest rates, doing a stock buyback, decreasing the number of shares in the floats, and thus increasing the stock price. I am sure that everyone agree with me that Apple did not reach the 3 trillion market cap from selling their products. Worth noting and bringing to your attention that the last quarter, the Apple sales in China dropped by over 20%, and they were able to slightly improve their number by increasing their sales in Africa and the Middle East area. And this example, Apple example, is replicated all over other stocks and company. And by this scheme, we created the biggest bubble in the market history. Everyone can see, and even in the media, they start speaking about that the market is in a big bubble, except of Cathy Wood, that she see that it's other way. And if we look at the Fed, we see that the Fed is way behind of the curve. Many economists, such as Al-Aryan, Mohammed Al-Aryan, they were calling for tapering and pushing the brake way in last year after the 20% drop down. But the Fed continued his loose monetary policy. Now the Fed is behind the curve. So what is the result? The result is an increased inflation. First of all, the Fed was telling us that it's transitory, it's, and they are eyeballing without a specific formula 2%. But things they went out of controls, and then we end up with a core inflation of 6%. If we factor in the increase in rent and in food prices, the inflation number is in the two digit, maybe 12%, double what we have. So what is the deal here? What is the deal here for us retail investors? We must be aware of these facts in order to make the right decision when buying or selling a stock. We have to understand that. As a fact, we saw yesterday in the market performance that the Nasdaq had a pullback of 200 points. The Nasdaq is heavy on technology. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average increased by 200 points. Guys, this is a signal that the sentiment in the market is changing. With that being said, let's move on to the market performance. So here we go. The Dow Jones is up 214 points, or an increase by 0.59%. The Nasdaq is down 210 points, or a decrease by 1.33%, and the S&P 500 is down by 3 points, or a decrease by 0.06%. So what we got here, let's move on to the heat map with the S&P 500 one-day performance. We see technology on the red side with Microsoft down 1.72%, Apple down 1.27%, a huge pullback after they reached their market cap.
Communication service for Google and Facebook on the flat line. Consumer cyclical. We see Amazon is down. Uh, Healthcare also not so hot so, with Pfizer down 374% and Moderna down 0.85%. On the other side, we see energy is outperforming, basic material on the green side, industrial doing great.
So let's continue to the chart analysis. What we see here, we will see, take a look at the SPY. We see that the SPY flushed down, closing the gap that created at the end of yesterday session, went all the way down to 475, and by the end of the session start a phase of consolidation in the last 30 minutes of the session. We see here this volume candle by the end. We see that the histogram for the MACD is flattening. Same thing for the RSI. Let's go to the Qs. The Qs. For the Qs, we see that this the bull flag is still playing after the fact that in the last 30 minutes of yesterday's session, the stock couldn't break over the resistance of 397. So I'm assuming that more pain will come to the Nasdaq. Let's continue to the IWM. The IWM small caps is still on consolidation. As long as we didn't reach the support of 223, I think that the bull flag will play to the upside. Let's take a look at the VIX on the daily time frame. The VIX is crawling down. We see on the MACD that we still crawling down, but we see at this level that the selling is topping down. Maybe we will see a crossing on the MACD in the next couple of days, and then we will see another pop-up in the VIX as usual. The DXY, the dollar index at this moment is on a consolidation mood. Is consolidating around the $96. Let's take a look at the gold. The gold, the wise man in the room, is still trading under the strong resistance of 1834. The gold did reach a lower bottom of 1754, and then from that time we see that it kept on crawling upward. If we take a look on the histogram, we see that it's crawling upward, and we are not bought yet on the RSI, so I assume that we will go all the way to the resistance level of 1834, and then we will knock on this level one more time, and we will see if the gold, in my opinion always, if the gold will cross this resistance, it would definitely turn to a support. Let's go to Apple. Apple. What we see here in Apple. Let's come back to 30-minute time frame. What we see to have a more clear idea of what's going on with Apple. Apple here, after the fact that they reached their all-time high market cap of 3 trillion, what happened? Big flush down and the creation of a bear flag. And we see that the closing candle is to the downside with a huge volume. This is a confirmation that maybe the next move will be also to the downside. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla, after the fact we have this massive drop, we start in consolidation mode, and this represented the bear flag also, and in my opinion the next move will be to the downside. Let's take a look at AMC 30-minute chart. We see that we went through the very important support of 26. We crossed it definitely. The apes couldn't defend this support and they dropped all the way to 24.65. By this fact we are creating a bear flag, and I think that more pain to come to AMC. So let's take a look at Bitcoin with the daily time frame. After this massive flash down for Bitcoin, what we see here, we see a formation of a very known pattern, which is heads and shoulders. Here is the first shoulder, here is the head, and our target will be 42,000. So for the few sessions to come, I think that Bitcoin will visit the 42,000 mark, and then Bitcoin will have to decide with the laser beam guys to buy the dip, and we will come back to a higher level, or the sell will be more important than the buying, and then we will see a flash down in Bitcoin. So finally, let's see what we will have tomorrow, Wednesday, January the 5th. We have at 8:15 a.m. the employment report. At 9:45 a.m. we have the PMI, which is an important index, and at 2 p.m. we have the FOMC minutes. This is all what I got for you today. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon. If you find what presented on this channel helpful, like and subscribe to improve the algorithm, and follow me on social media.